Welcome back to Getting Ecstatic About Sports with Emerson. I'm your host, Emerson Burris. Today, we're going to be discussing how the NFL isn't doing enough to protect players from concussions. To discuss that, I'm here with Macy Ray and Katie Parker. Macy, what are your thoughts?
Well, the helmets used in football really only protect against skull fractures since concussions are caused by the rattling of the brain. So I feel like they're giving players this false sense of safety, which is causing them to hit a lot harder and faster, which is making concussion rates go up.
Yeah, as of late, the NFL has put in a lot more rules to kind of cushion the way that athletes are used to tackling and going after opponents. I have heard the point made before that the helmets kind of take away the sense of humanity in a player, which motivates the opponent to hit them harder, hit them more. So I can see it from that end, but I don't know if necessarily going backwards on our development of the helmet is the way to keep athletes safe. So what do you think about that?
I agree with you, Katie. I think that helmets have evolved so much. I mean, if you look at helmets from 5 years ago, we've evolved so much to today. And players know the risk when they agree to play the game. They're paid millions of dollars and inherit these risks when signing these contracts. And I also think that saying we need to remove helmets from the game because of brain injuries is equivalent to saying that we shouldn't let people drive cars because they could get injured in car wrecks.
Yeah, I agree with that. But before the use of modern helmets, players tackled more like in a rugby style, with the initial point of contact being their shoulders and up here, not their heads. But since they started using the plastic helmet, like Katie was saying, it kind of dehumanized them, which was causing them to hit harder, and injuries and even fatalities spiked up. So it makes me think that we should go back to kind of that rugby style gameplay.
I know that what people love about football is that it stays consistent, and a big complaint as of late has been the softening of it with the targeting rule and a couple other things like that. It makes people think that they're watering the game down. So I think that taking away the helmets or making them less, they said that would make the players less motivated to hit others, but if that takes out the tackling aspect of the game, and that's a big part of football, how do you think that would alter people's approach to watching football?
Well, removing helmets and kind of going back to that rugby style gameplay isn't about ruining the game that we all love. It's more about preserving the game and protecting the athletes, because obviously concussions and brain trauma is never going to be completely out of football or really any contact sport. But I think there's a great idea sitting under the league's nose, and it's time for them to take that a little more seriously.
I think you both have really good points, but obviously health and safety is super important, but when it comes to the NFL, it's all about revenue and money, and it's on the international market. The helmet is another property for brand awareness and advertisements, and if you think that we're far away from taking advertisements off of jerseys and helmets, then I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I think the NFL is not going to want to skip out on that big chunk of money that comes in. The brands have their logo up there, and it does bring in a lot of money. It's just one more piece of equipment they can sell, so I don't think they're going to pass up on being able to cut that out just because it's all about money in the grand scheme of things.
With that point, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining me on Getting Ecstatic About Sports with Emerson. Thank you, Macy Ray and Katie Parker. Have a great rest of your night.